All right, we're live. So welcome back to Dapp University. So a lot of huge news to talk about today. The first big item is that Amazon is planning to launch their own digital currency project. All right. So this actually broke before, but we've had so much going on that I didn't even get a chance to cover it yesterday in the live stream. I mean, this entire week has been crazy. The entire past 2, 3 weeks has been crazy. Everything from Wall Street bets all the way to, Tesla buying Bitcoin for their balance sheet, speculations of Apple, doing the same thing. And now here we have Amazon, who's not, launching, sorry, they're not buying Bitcoin, but they're talking about launching their own digital currencies. We're going to jump into that. So we got some people jumping in the chat here. So we got Shad, Jonathan, Jack. Awesome. Very cool. So before we get into that, if you're new around here, I'm Gregory, and on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to become a blockchain master step by step from start to finish, then head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. Awesome. So let's go ahead and jump into this first big news item. So Amazon is preparing to launch a digital currency project. Now, very, very clear, this looks like it's a pilot project in Mexico, and the details of this are forming. So some of this, we'll see if this project actually sees the light of day, but this is massive. We've seen Amazon dip its toes in the blockchain space in the past, especially with their managed blockchain service, which they have on AWS. And here we see another effort validating the need for something, or at least testing out the need for something like a digital currency project in Mexico. So let's take a look. So how did we hear about this? Well, basically Amazon posted some job postings online for engineers to help build out this effort. And inside the descriptions, they detailed out the project they're planning on launching. So if you go like the CoinDesk article, they have links to the job postings, but they're taken down. Okay, so you can't really see them anymore. But trusting that the details in the news article here is accurate, which again is a couple days old now. Let's see here. So let's go here. Amazon's grip on the internet economy appears to be coming for currency, with the emerging with the e-commerce giant preparing to launch a digital currency project in Mexico. So we talked about Uber's talking about, the MasterCard. There's so many companies. Like I said at the beginning of the stream, it's been absolutely insane how many big news items have broken over the past couple weeks. I know I'm kind of going on a side tangent here, but if you all could think about all that activity put on a plot, it would look like an inflection point, where basically everybody talks about adoption of new technology happening really slowly and then all at once. Well, that's like an inflection point where a adoption curve goes up. You're seeing evidence of this in real time. So that's something to really think about. So anyways, back to the Amazon news. We saw MasterCard earlier this week talking about planning to support cryptocurrencies for payments in 2021. Uber talking about they would accept cryptocurrencies as payments if they saw enough demand for it on their platform. So what we're seeing more and more and more and more and more is cryptocurrencies being validated as a form of payment. So it looks like Amazon's throwing their name in the ring for that as a solution on their platform. Now, this does appear to be a test pilot project, especially launched in a very limited demographic. So it looks like they're talking about launching this in Mexico. And we don't have an official announcement of what their project is actually going to be. So there's still a lot of speculation around this, but what we've seen from the job posts. But this is still massive news, okay? So we'll go back here. Amazon Digital and Emerging Payments Division intended to roll out the project in Mexico. First, the post said. Second job post said the product appears to be broadly aimed at emerging markets, okay? So Amazon is hiring software development engineers at all levels, staff up quickly for the launch. So that's something I've always thought, as far as crypto as a payment solution, emerging markets are a good fit in a lot of ways, because in some ways, like here in the United States, not all payments are broken, right? Like some payment solutions are good. We have good, fast payment solutions that people are reasonably satisfied with. That's not the case everywhere, okay? And that could be what Amazon's talking about. So I don't necessarily think this means that, digital currency payments are just going to take over worldwide Amazon usage or necessarily like everything here in the United States or something like that. Because it doesn't necessarily need to. Now it might, but I want to be very clear about like what the scope of this probably is. So yeah, that's what I think about that. But the one caveat to that is when you're talking about like wire transfers, transferring large sums of money between banks, that's something that cryptocurrencies can really improve upon for those large transfers because those typically take a long time. They have to go through a lot of clearing processes in order to happen. They can be expensive, I mean, in terms of time and also money. We can improve those things for domestic wire transfers in the United States and especially international wire transfers. So that's the caveat to what I'm talking about. As far as consumer payment goes, we have a lot of good consumer payment options now. I think expanding those options to digital currencies could potentially help merchants, capture more payments, maybe meet some market demand. But for a lot of really developed places in the world, payments aren't necessarily broken in terms of consumer payments. All right, so let's go ahead and check in on Ether here. Sorry, I'm pulling up my chart here. All right, so we're at 1,770. So we've had a little bit of a correction here yesterday. We or a few hours ago, so we kind of knifed and are coming back down. So the same thing happened with Bitcoin. Let's just see here. Yeah, everything was looking a little bit bearish in the short term. I saw lots of posts going around about like leverage going up on exchanges, especially for altcoins and stuff like that. I mean, big picture, I mean, I'm not super worried because one of the big reasons is like I don't think we're at like I don't see the big long-term top signals in the sense of like we've stayed at these levels for many days. That typically doesn't happen like at the top of a market. Again, I'm not a big TA guy, not a trader. I'm not like trying to divine what like the cryptocurrency price is going to be the next week, month, day, year. I'm just looking at the bigger picture here. I don't see like a big picture like, oh my gosh, we're headed for disaster. I mean, some people would say like, hey, this is pretty vertical, but this is also this is a pretty big time range. And if you look at the past, like some of the past market cycles, like some of these peaks were just a matter of days, and typically that's what happens at tops. When you see these big euphoric rises like that, I mean, let's see here. This is one. That's 3 days, right? And then that's like 4 or 5 days. So that you get super volatile, massive spikes typically around tops like that. I mean, this was 30th of December over 30 days. I mean, that's what it did. I'm not saying history is going to exactly repeat itself, but it tends to rhyme. There could be lots of things that are quote unquote different about this, cycle, but I don't know. I don't think we're like about to nuke to zero tomorrow or anything like that. So anyways, that's how I feel. We can also look at the, let's see here. Let me go over here. We'll go to the Nupal chart. Glass nodes. So yeah, we're not like in the crazy like blue territory or anything like that. So basically this is looking at net unrealized profit. And typically when you're in like blue zones, that's when things start getting a little shaky. So again, not a TA guy, not a trader. Looking a little bit at TA, looking at a little bit of the charts just to kind of get a big picture view, looking at some on-chain analysis here to see like how many wallets are in profit, what are they doing, all that kind of stuff, just to get a big picture, check out my own investments and kind of give you guys a feeling on what I think the overall outlook is. So let's talk about more, institutions getting into the space, because again, this is a huge theme of this, cycle. So JP Morgan will offer Bitcoin trading if there's client demand, says COO. So this is not something that's happened yet. We're seeing lots of people say they would support cryptocurrency, say they would support Bitcoin, their platforms, or their services if they saw enough demand for it. That's the same thing that happened with Uber. Uber said they would support cryptocurrencies as payments for their rides if enough people wanted it. At least that's what we talked about yesterday. We'll see if that news has developed anymore. Uber said they didn't plan on having Bitcoin on their corporate treasury like Tesla did. But JP Morgan's talking about offering Bitcoin trading if there's client demand. So this is huge. We're seeing more and more institutions give people in traditional finance exposure to cryptocurrencies. That's just easier on-ramps for people who don't want to get into the crypto way of doing things, exposure to cryptocurrencies. And more as Bitcoin elevates its status in the eyes of traditional investors, the more and more you'll see this type of demand come. And the more and more people like, JP Morgan satisfy that demand. It's just going to be way bigger for adoption. I mean, I know for a long time people have talked about, when Bitcoin ETFs, right? Like Bitcoin ETFs are going to be the thing that really makes us take off like crazy. May not need it at this point. We'll see. Somebody says watch Nupal daily chart. Somebody says with India going to ban cryptocurrencies, will it impact the Bitcoin price? So that's a good question. I don't have a good answer for you off the top of my head. It kind of makes me sad that they would ban that, because to me it just seems like you're cutting off a country from accessing what everybody else can. So if y'all have any opinions, I don't have strong opinions about that. I know international affairs are a tricky topic, and I don't live there. So if you have any thoughts about that, leave in the chat down below. Somebody says Doge to the moon. Doge might go to the moon. It's crazy. Let's check see on how Dogecoin's doing. I don't really watch Doge. I don't really watch a ton of cryptocurrencies. So it's at 6 cents. Let's see how we're doing here. I've talked about my thoughts on Doge somewhat in this live stream. We saw Mark Cuban's thoughts on it a couple days ago. I think Doge is something that can happen for fun. I don't think it's like the worst thing on the face of the planet. Just don't gamble away your life savings on Doge. I don't like to give financial advice, but I feel okay saying that. Like, yeah, don't gamble away your life savings on Doge. So let's look at some more news here. So Ethereum storage network Swarm raises $6 million in private token sale. So this is also big. So for people who have been watching this channel before, interested in Ethereum technologies, Swarm is a storage network. So Ethereum actually has a pretty big stack behind it. We of course have the base layer 1 Ethereum protocol. We have other protocols like Swarm in the ecosystem for storage. We also have Whisper, which is a communication protocol. It was initially designed for dApps to talk to one another. People have used it for different things. We've seen chat clients built out of Whisper. It'd be interesting to see what happens with Swarm. They sold their token BZZ. We're seeing lots of capital flowing into this space. People trying to attack some of these problems. I think this is going to be huge for the Web3 initiative. So DeFi is definitely one of the hottest narratives in crypto right now. It's one of the biggest use cases on top of Ethereum right now because we have cryptocurrencies, we have tokens, and now you can do things with them that you could do in the regular financial system and new things you can't do. Take out loans, trade, lots of stuff. So DeFi is hot. It's one of the use cases I'm most excited about. We also have other things coming up like NFTs. I've made some videos about that this past week. We've got the NFT masterclass or the collectibles masterclass coming up in a couple weeks. The other big use case is Web 3.0. So the market is sensing more and more of a demand for this because of censorship. I think that's one of the reasons that Web 3.0 could come sooner rather than later in terms of people actually using it, is deplatforming and censorship. It's hard to say because we have a long way to go in building out everything we need for a fast and performant Web 3.0. There's also some challenges because like Ethereum is a pay-to-play system. Not everything works. Not everything from our Web 2.0 paradigm just easily ports over to Web 3.0. That's one of the reasons DeFi is such a natural fit, because DeFi is a pay-to-play system. Finance is a pay-to-play system. You have to pay for transactions on the Ethereum network, so you can just port stuff over. I mean, it's a very simplified explanation, but that's what makes it work and is adopted much easier than Web 3.0. So anyways, the reason I'm saying this is the news we just saw. Swarm Network raising $6 million. Swarm is an important part of Web 3.0, where basically we take the web as we know it, websites, places you go to access information, use web applications, social networks, media sites like YouTube where you're watching this video, and building them in a decentralized way or a censorship-resistant way. One piece of the puzzle in doing that is creating the client-side layer. So anywhere where you would share a video, have a picture, host a website, you need to be able to do that in a decentralized way. IPFS is an example of this. Filecoin's an example of this. And we're seeing more technologies jump into that space to help solve that problem. That's why this is so important. So let's see here. Somebody says, what is the crypto that's the biggest in my portfolio and why? Ethereum. A lot of that's because of when I bought my cryptocurrency. So I accumulated, a lot of my cryptocurrency during 2019 and 2020. And ETH had the biggest upside potential, the most solid, most upside potential with the least downside risk out of everything available to me at the time. I also own a lot of Bitcoin, but I own a lot more ETH for that reason. I own a few DeFi projects as they were coming onto the scene, like Synthetics and Aave. Somebody says, what is Web 3? So Web 3.0. Web 2.0. So the internet's gone through multiple phases. Web 2.0 is basically when we got interactive, intelligent websites, data-backed websites with lots of behavior. Like think about using a web application like Facebook.com. You can log in. It's responsive. You can access it on a mobile device. You can add friends. It's got very complex behavior. Your online banking has a web application where you can do a lot of really important stuff, really effective stuff. It increases your productivity, right? As opposed to maybe Web 1.0 where you just had like websites. You just go look at information. Maybe you could log in at the time, but Web 2.0 really took it to the next level. Web 3.0 is sort of the blockchain decentralized way where the web becomes less centralized, more decentralized, censorship resistant, all that kind of stuff. What should a dev learn if he wants to be in Web 3.9, 3.0? So I'll show you. So you can go here. Well, normally it's pinned to the top of my YouTube homepage. Right now it's showing the live stream. But normally on my YouTube homepage, there's a pinned video that says how to become a blockchain developer in 2021. You can just go to the videos. I can show you back here. It looks like, let's see if I can find it. Here it is right here. So if you find this video, it's pinned to the top of my YouTube homepage. This will show you from a high level everything you need to know to become a blockchain developer in 2021. After you watch that video, you can look at any of the free tutorials here, and they will show you how to get your hands dirty. So somebody says, hey, I've been watching your channel for a while, et cetera, et cetera. I wonder if you're going to update in your video since they're using Uniswap version 1. So we've moved to Uniswap version 2 into the membership program. I may do a Uniswap version 2 video on YouTube. We'll have to wait and see. No promises there, but stay subscribed and maybe we'll do it. So also make sure you subscribe and check out the next couple of videos. And some people also watch these live streams later and say they don't see them come up. You can turn on notifications and it'll alert you anytime I go live. But I've got a video coming out pretty soon talking about OnChain Analytics and how that's useful and why it's pretty cool use of blockchain technology. I know some of you already understand what this is, but I'm going to explain it for people who don't. And that's kind of one of the whole purposes of this channel. There's no dumb questions. There's no, there's so much to know in the blockchain space. I've even used this forever. So, I mean, it's crazy how much there is to know. I mean, all the way down to coding, all the way up to, using the blockchain in different ways to have a basic understanding of how cryptocurrencies work and basically how crypto markets work, all the way up to really big picture stuff like finance, and it's pretty overwhelming. So anyways, but one of the cool things about blockchain is you can use it to analyze what's happening on the blockchain itself. Basically, the blockchain is a public ledger. All the data is publicly available, so you can scrape it into a database and generate insights on that data. You can create a whole bunch of metrics that show you what's happening with cryptocurrency wallets. What are they doing? How many cryptocurrency wallets are in profit at the current cryptocurrency price? Okay, that's the kind of stuff you can see here. Like this is Glassnode. So this is the Nupal chart, so net unrealized profit loss. Basically, there's a lot you can read into this, but this kind of it's one way of trying to determine, like, are we at a top or are we at a bottom? So like when you see this like blue stuff here, that usually indicates euphoria. I mean, this data is not perfect. I'm not telling you like to use this to like make all your decisions. This is just one really way, one way to try to look at what's going on. And this is why it's so cool that you can do this with blockchain, because you can't really do this in the same way with any other asset class. You don't have a chain to analyze, right? So you can see like, it basically is the entire network in profit and how much, right? That can be kind of an indicator for some of this stuff. You can look at like whale accounts, like accounts that own over 1,000 Bitcoin. What are they doing? Are they buying dips? Are they cashing out? Are they sending money to exchanges, right? We know the exchange addresses. We can look at the whale addresses. You can derive lots of insights from these types of things. That's why OnChain Analytics is pretty cool. I saw some traders like it over technical analysis, or in tandem with technical analysis. Again, I'm not a short-term trader, not a TA guy, but I do like to look at big picture stuff, and I think this is a pretty cool use of the tech itself. You can also look at OnChain Analytics for Ethereum-based analysis. You can analyze DeFi. You can look at DEX activity. That's the cool advantage of Ethereum over Bitcoin. You can actually see what's being traded. You can verify it on chain. Bitcoin, you can basically see when stuff's being sent to exchanges, and then you have to trust the exchange data from there. But with Ethereum, it's powered by smart contracts, so you can see everything on the blockchain itself. So another big piece of news that's pretty cool is BlockFi raising Series D funding around 2.8 billion. So if you got familiar with BlockFi, it's a custodial solution that lets you earn interest on cryptocurrencies. So I like BlockFi. I mean, I think, I'm a realist. I think DeFi is really cool. I think a lot of people are going to use services like crypto banks, basically, that are doing more traditional finance stuff on the back end with cryptocurrencies. I think one really cool use case for BlockFi is like to earn interest on your Bitcoin. I mean, that's personally like what I would use it for. Your alternatives if you're doing DeFi is to basically send your Bitcoin to a service like, Wrap Bitcoin or Ren, something like that, and then move it onto the Ethereum blockchain to try to earn interest, all that kind of stuff. There's still a lot of risk involved with that. I think a lot of people are going to prefer to do something like BlockFi where they can just get like a 5 to 6% return on their Bitcoin. Yeah. So what do I think about Avalanche or Polkadot blockchain? Do you think they can become the new favorite with lower gas fees? So go check out the video I did last week talking about Ethereum versus Cardano and Polkadot. I know that doesn't address Avalanche directly. So part of the thing that I think the thing people are focusing on is that these other layer 1 blockchains are going to deliver the same benefits as Ethereum 2.0 or better, faster than Ethereum delivers Ethereum 2.0, and therefore steal Ethereum's market share and become the dominant blockchain smart contract platform world computer. I don't think this is going to happen. I talked about it extensively in that video for lots of reasons. I'll give you a few reasons off the top of my head. First, the gas fees are a reflection of demand on Ethereum right now. They're, of course, high, partly because the price of Ether has risen, but gas prices are determined by multiple factors. It's the price of the cryptocurrency itself, but the actual fee, that when you're talking about just gas fee, not the fee you pay at the end, the gas on Ethereum is determined by the gas price multiplied by the actual gas used in the transaction itself. So the gas of the transaction never really changes. You make the same transaction all the time. The gas used doesn't really change. The gas price changes based on network demand. So you can go look at like Ethereum, like ETH gas station. There's lots of different gas sites. This is one of the oldest ones. It's like kind of canonical, so I use it a lot. So you can see this Gwei price. I know this is like crazy. Like, a year ago we were in like 50 Gwei land, right? So anyways, these gas prices are based on network demand. Okay. So the reason I'm bringing this up is the high gas prices are a reflection that people want to use Ethereum and not something else. All right. So that's the first thing to think about. The other thing to think about is a lot of the Ethereum killers who think they're going to basically ship Ethereum 2.0 before Ethereum 2.0 ships. They haven't actually delivered on all their promises that they claim that they're going to deliver. So that's something to consider. Could they potentially deliver on those promises before Ethereum 2.0 comes out because they have, faster organizations, all that kind of stuff, better marketing? That's what everybody talks about. It's possible, but then you have a huge problem still of Ethereum has thousands of cryptocurrencies built on top of it. It has thousands of applications. It has a smaller number of useful applications, but it still has thousands of applications built on top of it. It has millions and millions and millions of users. I mean, well, a few. Let's look at the. I'm gonna be accurate here. Let's look at the number of active addresses on Ethereum. I know there's some double counting in there. Let's just look it up. So the total number on either scan. So not millions and millions. I don't want to be hyperbolic and misspeak here. But yeah, let's just see here. Hold on. Let me find our Etherscan. Let's see here. Ethereum accounts. Yeah, hold on. So unique Ethereum accounts is 197 million, approaching 200 million. So that's different from active addresses, all that kind of stuff. The whole point I'm trying to make. Ethereum has a crazy network effect, and that think about a social network that you want to go to that doesn't have any users, doesn't have any friends, or has a small number of users, small number of friends, compared to one where everybody is. Okay. That's an exponential increase in value. It makes it exponentially harder to compete with that because existing users now have an exponential amount of value somewhere else. All these tokens, all these applications, all these users, that's a crazy exponential amount of value. That's really hard. Now, some people will say, well, the gas fees are so bad, it's just gonna, I just don't think so. And part of the other reason is because Ethereum is working on layer 2 scaling solutions right now. It'd be one thing if Ethereum wasn't doing anything to fix any of this stuff, but it's a more decentralized community in a lot of ways. That's the ethos of this whole technology. And you have to ask yourself, like, maybe what Ethereum 2.0 is trying to do to make a truly decentralized Web 3.0 world computer is a lot harder than it looks. And maybe you should step back and ask yourself, like, well, why is it so much easier for this person or that person to do the same thing? Like, maybe they're making some trade-offs that shouldn't be made. Like there's, I don't want to get too far into the weeds on some of that. But yeah, there's a reason it's hard. Okay. Like this is a massive engineering feat. Can they still take some market share? Yeah, I think so. Do I think they're going to dethrone Ethereum as the #1 smart contract platform and public blockchain? Probably not in the definitely not in the short term. Probably not in the mid-term, long term, and I really don't think so in the long term. We'll see. I could be wrong. The big caveat is that we're still early. Anything could happen. Ethereum 2.0 is definitely not a guarantee. It could be a disaster. I doubt it, but we'll see. That's just my honest opinion. I'm open to changing my mind. I could learn something else if I had to, but that's the way I see things right now. When will the next ETH 2.0 phase come to fruition? Probably later this year. We'll see. There's no firm timelines. That's part of how they work is, they don't like to basically say when the next thing's going to be because deadlines change all the time. They don't set expectations and not meet them. So in summary, my view is the real Ethereum killer is Ethereum 2.0. So yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. We'll see. XDAI is lovely project. Yeah, XDAI is cool. All right, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here for today. As always, smash that like button down below. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. That really helps these videos out so more people can learn about blockchain. If you like this videos, and you're as fascinated with this technology as I am, you want to figure out how to get your hands dirty today, I can show you how to build your own blockchain application. Go to my YouTube homepage. You can find any of my free courses there, like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. If you like those, you want to take the next step, or hey, you want to stop right now, take a massive shortcut, head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. You should build a real world application step by step from start to finish. You can land a high paying job, become a freelancer, build your own project. So that's all I've got. Thanks for watching. And until next time, I'll catch you then.